Yep, my name is Kyle Roberts. I am the academic dean and a theology professor, and I've been at United since 2014, dean since 2018. Anti-racism means to me an intentional commitment to create actual change through development of new policies or the changing of policies and institutionalized practices that will disrupt the sort of long heritage that continues to reside in our institutions of racism and biased thinking and prejudice. And anti-racism signifies to me a real commitment to creating change through enacting new policies or changed policies. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that question about hope there. As a Christian theologian who's formed by theologians of hope to some extent, hope is such an integral part of the Christian imagination, the Christian vision, sort of driven by that inspiration that a new reality is coming, a new reality could come and should come, and so that hoping is really part and parcel, I think, to the Christian vision, a Christian vision. And I think it, of course, means that hope can't just be wishful thinking, but has to be accompanied by action as well, working toward the vision that one is hoping for. And so when you think about what a hopeful vision of an anti-racist society or community would look like, I think that would be a community where diversity is not something that's surprising or jarring or given to conflict or turf wars and that sort of thing, but that it is really inherent to the sense of community itself and expected, and where everybody brings their distinct uniquenesses and perspectives and experiences equally to bear on kind of creating the life and the togetherness and the society that we really should be and want to be. Just thinking about the responsibility of leadership and the importance of being attentive to the ways that, particularly in sort of dominant white institutions historically and even at present, that we just have a lot of work to do, and I have a lot of work to do. But I think about things that we've done, like developing this directorship, this director role of antiracist initiatives to really institutionalize and to put some investment, nominal as it might be, into this work so that it doesn't get forgotten or just kind of shrugged to the side. As President Marshall and I and you kind of envisioned this department or this new director role, I think that's an important step in the direction of moving in this way. Other things that I try to do is I try to be attentive to student concerns, students of color who articulate experiences of microaggressions or macroaggressions in the classroom or outside the classroom. There have been cases where I have owned up to my own contribution to experiences of microaggressions, macroaggressions, whether by students or faculty, just trying to be attentive to, vigilant, I think, in a sense, to recognize by listening to the experiences of others very different from my own, right? That I have blind spots, and so being awakened to and attuned to those blind spots by active listening and empathetic understanding and humility, I think all of that's really important. Again, long ways to go in that. One thing I would also add is just the way that as faculty, when I lead search committees for a faculty position or for an adjunct faculty position, we do national searches now, and even with many of our adjunct roles, we're doing national searches with language in our advertisements that invite diverse pools of applicants, and so we're looking for that from the beginning. so that we have a better chance at bringing in diverse applicants through that whole process. One of the things that really keeps coming up is how our pedagogies, or how our teaching methods and our approaches to the teaching of theology in the classroom and just in the courses that we offer, how we can be attuned to sort of the ongoing pernicious effects of racism and the impact of racism even on our own inherited theologies. So kind of disrupting that white supremacy in the canons that we have received and we continue to pass along and teach. I think that's a tough balance, because I think on the one hand, we want to be sensitive to and respectful of the histories that we receive and the great theologies that we've learned, many of us, and are excited still about in many ways, but also to teach those in a way that recognizes their inherent limitations and the biases that are built in within them as well, and to have more of a post-colonial kind of vision and imagination as we're interrogating and interpreting and passing along those, in many cases, wonderful texts and theologians, but then broadening and deepening that with more diverse contextual perspectives, recognizing that all theology is contextual, right? Even the ones that have assumed a kind of universality. And so just the importance of being mindful of perspective in our theologies and our teaching and among our students as we commune together in that work. The kind of yearning for action over theory, I think, for me has been an important lesson as dean, as we navigate that life together as a faculty, just being aware that there's a need to continue to be mindful of actual, real microaggressions in the classroom, among our students, among our faculty, the ways that the institution perpetuates things that we're not even always cognitive of. And so being, as a leader, I think just thinking of the virtues of humility, epistemic humility, being open to correction and change and learning. I think as a faculty together, we do a pretty good job of that in our lives together in general. And I think that's really important for this work of antiracism as well. So. Yeah, what does theological education look like in an anti-racist world? As I kind of alluded to earlier, I think it means the willingness and the vigilance to continue to interrogate those received norms, to be open to transformation and change in the way that we articulate, construct our theologies together. To embrace particularity and perspective, and to value all the diversity of our perspectives equally and in the mix, to learn from each other. And so I think a theological education has to be, I think, not just respectful of received traditional theologies on the one hand, but also really, I think, in liberal and progressive context to really dive into liberation theologies, contextual theologies. Of course, all theology is contextual, as I've said, but embracing that contextuality of theology, the lived nature of it, as well as always being mindful that in theology, in good theology, theory must have some implication for action and for praxis. United's so good at that, such a part of our tradition that we want to continue to move forward in this area in particular as well.